Alright, well, I'm going to go and get started. Pull this off. For those of you just tuning in, my name is Jeremy. I'm also known as the Pitbull of Pilates. That's a fun nickname I got when I was going through my Pilates certification program. And tonight, a big part of the work that we're going to be doing, not work, is going to be more of bodyweight exercises, because we have done plenty of exercise videos so far where people can work along with weights. And this is going to be a little bit more about what you can do on your own without weights. So we're going to do a little bit of animal flow here, get things warmed up. Help me get warmed up. It's about, I don't know, 65 degrees in LA, so it's a little cold for us. And as I get older, I feel it in my bones more. I don't know how true that is, but you know, I'm just warming up the wrists. If you're going to be following along, I recommend you start warming this up as well. If you happen to do any breakdancing back in the day, it's a good thing to help warm up your shoulders here. This all stretched out. And reverse. And what I like about doing this stuff first is if we decide as we're going through this to add any weights to what we're doing, we'll be nice and warmed up for that. And do something called magnetic wrists. Even if you don't plan on following along when you're watching this, if you sit at a computer all day, these small movements should help a little bit with your hands and your wrists. Sitting on the keyboard, 4, 5, and then we're going to reverse. I am a level 1 animal flow instructor. I have gone through the level 2 certification, but I have not finished it yet. I mean, I wasn't speaking just directly to you, Josh, but you know, if the carpal tunnel fits. So, the last one I like to do, if you've never followed along before, you're just tuning in, I like to make a bit of a drinking game. Every time I say so, you have to take a drink. Or you have to rehydrate, however you want to play the game. If you don't drink, I don't want to trigger anything that you don't necessarily want to do. Alright, from here, I'm going to go ahead and just get down on my hands and knees. So for this, we're going to start warming up a static beach. We're going to do some static holds here. And one of the things that I have found that was taught to me, the best way to position yourself for this exercise is you want to be on your hands and knees with your hips slightly behind your knees. So a general rule of thumb for that is to find it easily is bring your elbows back to your knees, hands flat on the ground, and then extend those arms out. As I am here with my arms out, we want to lock the elbows out completely. So the crease of your elbow should be facing forward. My toes are back here like so. I've already warmed up my ankles, so if you need to warm up yours a little bit more. And I'm going to just lift my knees up just about 1 inch as I sit here. I'm gripping the floor with my fingers. I'm not just putting all the brunt of this into the meat of my hand. Relax. If you're following along, shake those wrists out a little bit. This is one of those, like most exercises, it's a silly name. Looks a little silly while you do it, but you have serious results. So again, I'm going to kind of corkscrew my arms, draw the shoulder blades down my back. I'm going to push back through my heels and lift the knees up 1 inch and hold. 2. As you hold this, you want to make sure you're breathing. There are a lot of people, myself included, that like to just hold our breath while we do this. Good. And relax. And shake that off again. If this bothers your ankles, bothers your toes, you take a few little adjustments here. Maybe you're not ready to lift your knees up yet. But you can just leave those toes down and try to put more weight in your wrists. We're going to do this one more time. Shoulders back and down, lift and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to take that hold and we're going to make it a little more challenging by lifting up our hands and our feet one at a time. And when we lift it up, we're really just kind of shifting ever so slightly so that we could slide a piece of paper under the hand or the foot. We're not trying to come all the way up from here. And you'll get to see me wobble quite a bit here. So I'm going to come on up, and I'm going to lift my hands up, try not to shift the weight too much. 2, 3, 4, 5, bring that hand down and switch. 3, 4, 5, bring that hand down, lift my right foot up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and switch, lift the left foot up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Now at this point, if you are following along and doing this, you might be a little out of breath too. These are some of the things that we do that are a lot harder than they look. I think that tends to be our theme in the Pilates studio. It's a lot harder than you look. This next one is called static crab. Same idea. And if you were following along the other night as we were doing the Turkish get up, as I was talking about the Turkish get up, I wanted my hips to be directly between my hand and my foot, an even distance there. Well, as I set up for static crab, I want my glutes to be directly in the middle between my hands and my feet. So, drink. I look like the capital letter N as I'm here. Then I'm going to roll the shoulders back and down, spread those fingers wide, grip the floor, and I'm going to drive my shoulder blades down to lift my tailbone up so that just enough to slide a piece of paper underneath it. I'm going to show you a bad way to do it. What we don't want to do is we don't want to come in here. As you can see, my shoulders are come up nice and high above my ears. There's no engagement whatsoever in my abdominals. So again, that setup is here. Just lift and hold. I'm actively driving my tailbone down to the ground, the crown of my head to the ceiling, while pressing my hands into the floor to lift my chest away from the ground. And come down and relax. Shake those hands out a little bit so we can warm up. Sometimes my triceps like to try to cramp up on me on that one. And we're going to do that one more time. So, drive the shoulder blades down and lift. Your gaze is up towards the horizon, not directly across, but here, so that we have that straight line between the crown of your head and your tailbone. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, shake that out. Shake your legs out, and this one doesn't seem to go into my legs too much, but again, for the finishing the warm up here, we're going to lift one hand and foot at a time. So as my shoulders go back and down, I'm directly in the middle here. As you're watching, you may not be able to see too much get lifted up, but maybe you will. So I'm going to lift this foot enough. 3, 4, 5. Switch my feet. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm not supposed to shift my weight over as I do this, unfortunately. Can't help it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so now we didn't do this with static beast, but now we're going to do opposite hand and foot. So I'm going to pick up my right foot and my left hand and balance. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring those down and switch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. If you're following along at home and you tried that, well done. If you're just watching, yeah, it's well done too. Whew. All right. Grab something to drink. Now we're going to do my favorite one. called Loaded Beast, and it's not because I've been drinking, but you're going to come into a nice deep child's pose position. Actually, before we go into that, I have my wife to credit this to. One of the things that I love about getting into a child's pose is how much relief it can cause. So one of the better ways what we found to get into this is that, you know, people just kind of come and get into this stretch. However, again, thank you to my wife, I found if you round your back up to the ceiling and then completely arch your back, lifting your head and shoulders as high as you can, keep your back arched, and then come into that child's pose, and you may find you can get just a little bit deeper, and it's just going to be all the better. Now, Loaded Beast, we're in this deep child's pose position. I'm going to show you face on so you can see my knees here. My toes are going to curl under my feet so I'm on the ball of my foot. And as I lift my knees up, you should see my knees come to the outside of my hands a little bit so that I am here. I'm actively pressing away from the ground, and I am nice and tight in the shoulders and relaxed. Now, one of the things you'll see the difference if you do Pilates, we like to come in here and keep the shoulder plugged in. With animal flow, especially in something like this, let that shoulder come out, reach those arms nice and long. There's nothing wrong with that. We're gonna do that one more time, getting that nice deep child pose position. I'm actively pressing my hands into the ground, keeping my head down, and I'm gonna lift the knees up and out as I hold it. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now, just for fun, I'm going to bring my left foot to the outside of my hand and reach up and just stretch. This is not animal flow. This is just me. And then we're going to switch that. We're going to come back and then come forward and just stretch. One more each side. I'm trying to work off all the food I ate last night. And I don't mean that as a punishment. If you ate a ton of food last night, good. We don't eat like that often. And if you were lucky enough to be like me and have amazing deep fried turkey, amazing mashed potatoes, collard greens, green beans, ham, cornbread, fucking cornbread. Oh my God, it was amazing. Whew. And relax. Good. All right. Now that I got you all hungry thinking about food, this next exercise we're doing, we're going to go right into called ape reach. So you're going to get into a nice deep squat. Now, as you do this at home on your own, your squat may not look like mine. There's some days I can't get my feet a little more narrow. Today's not that day. Some days, hey, they go nice and wide with it, right? You do what matters. However, as you go wider, it's going to be harder to not let your knees collapse in, and that's where some real damage can come. So if you're not feeling this in that aspect, don't do it. So ape reach, I'm going to be in this deep squat position. Again, I'm reaching those arms out. The backs of my hands are going forward as I reach as far away from me as possible. Thumbs are coming down to the ground. And now I'm going to open, and I'm going to come up and open here into this position. Trying to keep my balance. And then I'm going to come back and down. Now as I come up on this next one, I'm going to get a little bit higher. And I'm going to come up and open and try to get taller here. And come back in and stretch. And the last one, number 3. Come on up and open. Turn those palms up. And back down. That's going to be enough of that. And if you aren't warmed up after that, I don't know what to tell you. So, that's where I'm at there. Now the rest of this time, we're going to be doing some kettlebells. And as you can see, these beautiful things over here, they're called the ladder barrel. We were here for the studio tour the other night. So I'm gonna grab, for now, this 50-pound kettlebell. And unfortunately, like a fool, I left my chalk at home, which is fine. I don't need it. Now, if you don't have a dumbbell, or if you don't have a kettlebell at home, and you're doing this with a kettlebell, let's try that again. If you don't have a kettlebell at home, and you're doing this with a dumbbell, I'm gonna be doing 2 cleans, 2 presses, 2 squats. Hence getting the ankles and everything warmed up, and then the rest with the animal flow. If you have a dumbbell, you can do 2 bicep curls, 2 overhead presses, and 2 squats. If you just want to watch and laugh, like, God, the fuck is that guy doing? You're more than welcome to do that too. If you have any questions while we do this, go ahead and ask at any point. And after I get done doing this, I'm going to go to the barrel. Now we're going to do some abdominal work over there, which if you have a big yoga ball at home, you might be able to follow along with. Alright, so this first set here, I'm going to start on my right arm. And clean, clean, press, press, squat, squat, switch. Park it. Now again, this isn't an every minute on the minute kind of thing. So as I described the other night with the talk test, I'm going to go when I feel like I can talk again, or when I feel like I'm actually just ready to go again. Well, one thing I do keep forgetting is to bring like a dry erase board with me. So I need chalk, I need a dry erase board. I just don't know what happened to my short-term memory. I can't remember why that's not there anymore. But and of course I'm not. There we go. So from here, what you're going to do set number 2. The first 5 sets I'm going to start with my right hand. The second 5 sets I'm going to start with my left hand. For no reason. Press. Now I like to swing switch. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Clean. Clean. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Sorry I wasn't able to get there in time. Thanks for joining us. I hope you are having a good time following along, watching us do crazy stuff. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So one of the reasons why, not one of the reasons, the reason I got the kettlebells is because I was working with a personal trainer in Chicago named Carolyn, who was an amazing trainer. And I said, Carolyn, I just want you to know, I'll do anything you want. My background is in gymnastics and springboard and platform diving. I'm programmed that if my coach tells me to do something, I'm gonna go do that. But I also need you to know I am 37 years old and I am not running on that fucking treadmill. And she said, that's fine, I don't need to run. We can do cardio with kettlebells. Like, great, never picked one up, let's go for it. And here we are. Now, certified personal trainer using kettlebells. And I love it. Set number 3. Sometimes it helps to remember what you're doing too. Whew. That was 3 altogether. I don't want to sound like someone who's bragging, but this is a little bit easier. You know, one of the things my wife and I were talking about earlier was buying some more kettlebells for our house. And one of the kettlebells we like to buy is a 28 kilogram, which is about 62 pounds. And I just realized that I'm at a studio with a 62 pound kettlebell. So we're going to try and see how this goes with a 60. Not 62, sorry, just a 60. All right. Set number 4, first time with a 60. Let's see what happens. Alright, not bad. I'm happy. I might do a few more rounds of that. I don't think I'm going to be able to necessarily get through all of them, but that was nice to play around with. That's good. How's everyone else out there feeling? Anyone doing this with me? Burning through it all? Talking directly to you, Josh. I know there's a bit of delay here, so I'm not sure why. I don't like it. That's what I like here. Good. Keep doing what you can. That's all that matters. Man, I keep thinking about that food last night. It was so good. The great part is I have more turkey to go home to and a giant slice of pecan pie. I don't normally like pecan pie, but this one will definitely get devoured. All right, set number 5. Again, going with a 60. The hard thing is to not arch my back. All right, so far so good. We have 5 halfway done. I tried to find just a normal workout on my app and I didn't have time, so I just put on the Pilates app. My heart rate is at 165, so my app's a little confused. So I'll also say, thank you guys for joining me tonight. I have found that it's rather hard for me to start doing this stuff on my own. Find the time during the day. I think like any normal parent out there, there's a part of me that feels guilty working out when my kids are home, which I know every other parent out there will also say you gotta take care of yourself before you take care of your kids. But that's just something that you can't help but feel. Oddly enough, I don't feel that way if I want to take a nap at home. No, I need to do that. So, anyway, another second. So I can't explain that. It's one of those weird human mysteries, I guess. And no, just tea, nothing more exciting than that. I also don't normally drink hot tea when I work out, but since I talk a lot now as I'm doing this, it really helps. All right, set number 6, starting the left arm. Felt good. I think I'm just gonna do one more with that set with a 60, and then go back down to the 50, which is gonna feel like quite the leap, but that's all right. And this stuff is meant to kill you. Josh, what did you do last night? What did you guys have at your house? Also, she's sick? Damn, I'm sorry. Did she at least enjoy anything? Watch a Charlie Brown Christmas, maybe? Number 7. That was good. Got 3 more sets to go. I think I'll do the last 3 of the 50. It's at the mall all day. I remember those days. Fondly, actually. All right, let's do number 8 here. Oh yeah, that's 1,000 times lighter. 2 more sets to go. Well, anyone have any good news they want to share about anything going on in the world? We've had some nice weather here. Good time with friends and family. I mean, I'm doing all right with my fantasy basketball. See how the scores are going. No, they're not going well. I can tell you that for free. Ooh, highs in the 40s. That'd be nice. Well, scores like these, I'm never going to make it into the majors, to tell you that much. Alright, let's go with set number 9. Man, the 40s? Anyone watching the second season of Arcane? I think we're going to finish the final episode of season 2 tonight. You can also say, for the record, anytime I have mentioned watching an animated show on TV, my wife always says, nah, maybe another time, I don't want to do it right now. But if anyone on Blue Sky says, this show was great, she'll watch it. So, if you have any suggestions of animated shows that we should watch, feel free to send them to my wife over at Blue Sky. And she's a big fan of Blue Eye Samurai, Arcane. You should watch it. I don't know why that's not coming up on here. Yeah, it's just really well written. Really well written. And beautifully animated. And I think that's kind of to be expected at this point with any show, but it looks really good. Alright, last set, number 10. I'll read that in a second. And that concludes the kettlebell aspect of this. Kettlebell, I can speak. Oh man. In a few weeks, probably closer to 1 or 2, I'm going to be putting together a whole session of rotational exercises that we do between the Plyo Studio and specifically kettlebells with a bent press, which is probably one of my all-time favorite presses. It's a really old strongman looking exercise. So I'll make sure and let you guys know that's going to happen. But for now, I'm going to do some abdominal exercises here on the barrel. And I have it set up so that at no point do I actually have to fully turn my back on you like I'm doing right now. But these are, I don't want to say fun to do, but they're necessary, they're important. There are certainly things that you can do with a yoga ball at your house. You may not necessarily be able to get quite as deep as I will get in these. And I put these on the wrong side, but that doesn't mean you can't be efficient. So I'm going to need an official drink counter. Someone who wants to take over that. It reminds us all to take a drink when I say so. You're laying on the ball, the legs are going to be long. The way I always know which arm to put in front or which leg to go in front is if I imagine I'm sitting with my legs nice and long in front of me and I rotate onto my side, that's the leg that will be in front of me. So if you are on a ball on your left side, left foot is in front. Now, I say this every time, I'm going to say it again. I'm not responsible for the structural integrity or lack thereof of the equipment that you choose to use, so please use this at your own risk. I'm going to start with my hands on my head. If you want to start with one arm down so you can find the ground first, that's fine. You're going to inhale, come down, keep that spine long, and over. Number 2, and up. I'm not letting myself fall over, I'm not trying to jerk back up, I'm staying nice and controlled, come down, up. Now as I drive through my feet, I can actually feel the right glute working to help stabilize me. We're going to come back to that in a second. So there's 5 there. And just for the sake of continuity, I'm going to come up here, keep doing the same side. Now if you happen to have a ladder rail at home, which I know sounds funny, but I do, you're going to put your foot on the bottom rung, and the foot at the top goes to the rung back here. Now this foot is not here to actually keep me anchored to the barrel. This foot that I'm driving through down here. Now I don't know how much time we have, but if you want, I'm sure my friend Josh can actually explain all the physics of that for you. The man is a math genius. I'm going to keep my hand knee to the ceiling, and from here I very controlled come down and up. And this is a much deeper oblique exercise. Number 3. And for me, I'm actually stretching out and massaging my TFL. Number 4. And number 5. Now, just to prove and show you, move this back just a little bit, that my foot, well, maybe I won't move this back a little bit, is the one that is keeping me anchored. The very advanced version of this is what I'm about to do next. That's why these things get tightened down so hard. So, I go from this position here, and sometimes if I were against the wall, I'd put my foot up on the wall. Or, I'm going to make it even harder on myself, and just to spin that leg in air, drive through this leg as I come down and up. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. And relax. Alright, now you can do that all over again. So that was a massive oblique exercise on my right side. And now I come over. Now you get to do the left side. So come down and up. And doing it like this is actually kind of a nice way to stretch out the side you were just working. 3. Number 4. And 5. Now from here, that foot that was in the front stays in front. This foot comes up here. And I come down. And up. 2. And I can already tell. 3. This side's gonna suck when I stick that leg out. Alright. And now, I'm just gonna take a break since I did on that side. It's gonna be fun. I also think you all know at this point, if your Pilates instructor says it's gonna be fun, it's a bold-faced fucking lie. All right, here we go. 2, 3. I am doing my best to not let this leg go up and down. 4, 5. Now, was it pretty? No. No, it was not. Was it effective? Yes. Yes, it fucking was. That is really all we care about. Well, that's all I care about. Now from here, you can do this. Let me just grab a wall so I can show you, as opposed to trying to describe through it there. All right, Ghost, I don't know what's going on over there. Relax. If you can find some kind of a couch or something to help anchor a foot under, now keep in mind this is going to wobble on you, so you're going to again do this entirely at your own risk. But I'm going to sit here, I'm going to do tree that we do on the short box on the barrel, and you're going to follow along on here. And if you're trying to follow along, you have any questions, feel free to type them in. I will not be able to guarantee that I'll be able to read it because I, again, don't have glasses on, because that happens as you get older. That's okay. That's part of the reward. All right. Sit nice and tall. What I like about doing short box here and on that ball is that I get a lot more support, not just on my lower back, but I also get to open up and stretch. Number 3. Now the other thing I sometimes like to do, as you can see my hands are here, it kind of forces my shoulders to come in. So if I sit with my hands by my side, I can go back, and here I'm going to go all the way back, and up, and number 5, back, and curving up one vertebra at a time. All right, anyways, my fingers bring my hands behind my head. This time I'm going to go back as far as I can, again with a completely flat spine. And return. I'm actively pressing my head into my hands to help give me a little bit more tension. 3. I want to keep the spine nice and long here. 4. And 5. And come over and stretch. And you go side to side. Oh shit. Just completely got 3 pops on that. I'm going to twist, hinge, unhinge, and again, if you're on a yoga ball, be very careful. Make sure your feet are under something that's not going to move. If you don't have a yoga ball, you can also just do this on the floor. Now I recommend putting a weight between your feet so that you stay nice and still. And back. Now from here, this is the part where the barrel gets a lot of fun. We're going to do our normal tree. We're going to bring this knee to my chest, sit as tall as I can, and it's the same exact thing that I do on the short box. Number 4, number 4. I'm going to keep my leg up on 5. Now, here I rotate my foot 3 times, and then I'm going to reverse. 2, 3. Now a really hard point. Flex. 2. Number 3. Now from here, this is where the magic happens. I'm going to rock back, slide my hands down my leg. I get to go all the way back, bring my chin to my chest, and curl myself back up. And number 2. Bring it down, keep the leg to the ceiling, chin to the chest, and curl back up. The last one, number 3. Here's the real magic. This is where I start figuring out if you've been paying attention to what you're doing. And you take your leg out, and you come over, maybe not on the first try, and over, and relax, and stand up. I don't recommend doing that on a yoga ball, but if you do, and you don't break your neck, please send me a copy of the video. Now we gotta get back on. So, this is the leg that landed. This is the leg that was hanging on back there. So I start with that left leg. I come up, lean against the barrel, re-hook my foot, make sure this foot is back up to the ceiling, and then just like before, bring my chin to my chest and crawl right up that leg. And then we can do a little fun stretch here if we want. It's up to you. Alright, I'm going to do the other side here, bend this leg up, kick. Now just so you know, if you are sitting at home or if you're at the office and you're feeling really tight in your legs and you're sitting in a work chair, you can do this part just sitting in a chair. You don't have to stand up, but you can still get a little movement in to help prevent some of the stiffness that happens from working at a desk. 3, now we're going to reverse that. 2, now point and flex. 2, flex. One more, number 3, and flex. I'm going to rock back, get that toes to the ceiling, walk my hands down that leg, and stretch to open up. Again, really focus on opening the collarbones here. Inhale, roll my chin to my chest, keeping the shoulders wide, but curling up. Got to grab my leg there. Number 2, I'm going to come down, open up, chin to the chest, using the powerhouse to curl back up. It's not a death grip kind of thing. And number 3, we're going to go back and come all the way down. And now I'm going to walk over and bring that left foot to the floor and relax. If this weren't a rubber floor, I could probably try to slide into a split. It would not be very successful, but I would do my best. But now we're going to kick back up. And since this is the leg I naturally kick up with for a handstand, it's a lot easier for me on that side. Make sure my foot is in nice and tight. And again, bring the hands up, bring my chin to the chest, and crawl up the leg. Add any fun kind of stretch you want to at the end. Relax. All right, so now, again, this is another stretch for your side. And following along this past few nights, we do exercises in here called mermaid. It's about stretching out your lats on the side. If you have a ball like this, and say that you have a couch that you can hang on to, just kind of putting this ball underneath your hip, underneath your abs, whatever's going to be more comfortable for you. And you can kind of leave this hand on the ground and stretch out your lat there. So I'm holding on this top arm and I'm actively pushing away with that bottom arm, and I'm getting one hell of a stretch here in my lat. In order to do that on the barrel, I'm going to line my sternum up here with the outside bar. This hand on the inside goes on top. I'm going to pull myself over, and then this arm comes all the way down. For me on this side, it's the bottom rung. And now I'm getting a nice stretch, not quite so much up at the lat as I am down toward my quadratus laborum, my glute medius. And what I can do, take this bottom leg and stretch and pull down and get more of a stretch in the side there, which just feels fucking phenomenal. I think we're all a little pent up. Family gatherings are amazing. They're great once you get there, but I think sometimes the idea of getting there is a little bit more stressful. Christmas, Hanukkah are coming up. Oh, stretch. Gifts need to be bought, wrapped, paid for. So we got a lot of stuff coming up in the next few months. I will be here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to help relieve some of that stress, either by working out or by helping you stretch out. If that's something you guys want at some point, we can do just much more of a stretch session as far as a nice way to warm up and cool down. Use a foam roller, anything like that. And relax. Whew, I got a little lightheaded after that. How's everyone feeling? Having a good time there? Please refrain from spamming emotes. Thank you. No worries. Oh man, how's everyone feeling? Oh, good. Good. Oh. All right. So as I was talking about those rotational stretches, we're going to be doing those in probably about a week. And if you are tight in your thoracic spine, if you're having a hard time rotating around back and forth here, we are going to do some of those things right now. All right, shoulder stretches. We'll make sure we'll definitely hit some of those. We'll start with a foam roll. Actually, here's a really great shoulder stretch. I know you're probably at a desk. So anything you can find, we're going to end with this one. This is always just kind of a nice thing to kind of see where your range of motion is at. So you can find your mirror and bring your arms up. Now, I'm nice and warm, and I've been working out already, so I can get my arms back here without arching my back. So I get my arm right by my shoulder. But a desk at home or a coffee table, anything that is nice and solid that you can press into, then you're just going to get your back nice and flat, and you're just going to press down into this desk, or in this case this barrel, keeping that back flat, keeping tension in the shoulders, keeping pressing down the whole time. And if we were doing this properly, I'd be using a timer and going for about a minute. And if you can hear my voice starting to get a little bit shaky, it's because I'm actually actively pressing the hands down into this barrel, trying to keep the muscles nice and tight here. And we're just going to say this is 45 seconds. And now I'm actually going to lift those arms up as high as I can without moving my back. Keep lifting up. 5, 6, 8, 9. I don't know if you can see my arms shaking. And I'm going to come back down and again press. As you can see, I've gotten a little bit further down. But I don't really want to sink too far. I want to keep it here and keep pressing into this barrel and stretch. Say this is 15 seconds. 3, keep pressing. This is not easy. My shoulders are burning. And from here, so that's about another 25 seconds. And I'm going to lift those arms up again. 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then relax. just see if you can't get those arms up a little bit easier. It's a lot easier for me to get my arms back now. But again, I'm not arching the back, but I can definitely get the arm past my ear. So again, that's a simple stretch you can do if you're working at the office or if you work from home, you don't get to go out to the gym too often. Something small like that, and we'll dive a little deeper into that next time, that if you happen to not be near a desk and you only have, say, like a yoga block or something nearby like that, we'll go over some of that stuff on Monday. So yeah, I think I'm kind of spent. Those oblique exercises really kind of took me down there for a second. Ah, nice. The sync works as well, absolutely. Whew. All right. Well, if you worked out with me and you have any questions and you didn't have a chance to ask them, feel free to, again, send me a message at any point. Then I'll go through and try to address it. If you have any ideas of something you want us to, or you want me to go over in here, I can make sure and hit that. But we're going to start, again, we're hitting more rotational exercises next week, open up that thoracic spine, and we'll take it from there. And have a great weekend. Be careful if you're doing any Black Friday shopping still. Here, there's some crazy people out there. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys on Monday. Have a good night. Hmm.